Hey, Fanboy Nation.
This is your pal Daffy Duck, and you're watching.
We're watching
You're watching Fanboy.
Fanboy,
fanboy, etc.
Fanboy Nation.
Dot, I assume Tom.
Hey, Robert.
Hey, gentlemen. How are you today?
Doing well. I'm Justin.
I'm Luke.
I saw your IMDB pages.
Okay.
Luke, you need to update yours because you still have your childhood headshots on there. And like you got 3 credits. And Justin's whole thing is I graduated with a degree in neuroscience from USC and my grandfather is Michael Landon. So like step up your game, man.
That's the vibe. That's the vibe. I don't even know how you do that. I don't know where you go. I'll look into it today.
I think you should just put your grandfather's Michael Landon.
Is the Duel on my IMDb? Is it clear that I did this?
The Duel is on there actually. So it's like
Okay,
one of
that's all
the
that
things that you have on there. And then like your headshot from when you were 8.
Well, to be fair, I think like Hollywood still mostly is only casting high school roles and then like mid-30s. So you you get stuck in the middle when you're in your 20s.
Right. But gentlemen, congratulations. I'm going to guess this is semi-autobiographical at this point because the two of you wrote this and co-directed it together, and it just seems like 2 friends that would really fight over a girl.
It's the making of the movie, I think, feels a little bit like the story of the film. It's such a crazy fever dream. It's funny. I was at a couple film festivals, and especially with independent filmmakers, a lot of times when you go down in a row and you ask directors or writers why they did a particular project, a lot of times the admission is that it's based on something that actually happened to them. And I was on a panel at the Florida Film Festival, and they went down one by one, and each one was like, well, this happened to me, this happened to me, this happened to me. And then they go, what's your movie about? And I'm like, oh, it's about a guy who finds out his best friend's been sleeping with his girlfriend, and everyone in the audience just went, ooh. Then people literally went, I'm sorry. And I was like, that didn't happen to me. It didn't. That's not actually what happened, but it is based on real life experiences. I mean, I think when you live long enough and you have enough relationships, you deal with infidelity in some degree. But this one specifically was, Luke and I were walking to our neighborhood liquor store, and I got a call from some of my friends who live on the West Side, and an adjacent friend group, not my specific friend group, but an adjacent friend group was falling apart due to this exact situation. 2 was basically brothers, and one guy finds out that his girlfriend has been sleeping with his best friend for a better part of like 6 months, and his whole life turned upside down. I mean, their friend group was imploding, the relationship obviously imploded, and the guy who called us, he wasn't involved in this situation directly, and he was just angry. He was angry on behalf of the friends and the whole thing, and that his whole friend group was falling apart, and we could just hear him on the phone, and he was like, something has to be done. And we were just like, you know, and we were working on another project at the time, writing something. We were just thinking about how interesting that was, and how, you know, the feeling of something has to be done, but also the knowledge of
you can't do it.
He's just going to end up getting over it, and they're going to, you know, he's maybe not going to be friends with these guys anymore. He'll have to maybe move cities or find a different friend group, but he's just going to have to kind of eat it. And we were thinking about the fact that, you know, there was a time not too long ago where something could be done, and not only something could be done, but it was actually shameful if you didn't do anything. And that was, you know, not just reserved for crazy people, but actually a lot of our politicians and judges and poets and playwrights and a lot of the esteemed people throughout society took part in dueling and arranged combat from well, yeah. To be fair, yeah. Also, crazy people, yes.
Yeah, and also, I mean, just that there's, you know, Woody handles it in the movie in the beginning. He explains it, but like, I think there is just the level to which the image that was given to us by his buddy on the phone when he was talking about, like, I always remember this. Where he's like, he's just in his apartment, and he's been in his apartment for a couple weeks, and he's not coming out, and he's not da 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 da. And like, we've all known a guy who's had something like this happen, even if it isn't a romantic, but just that the earth shattering moment. And just the way that they just, because so much of modern life is you cannot do anything about your problem. You just have to, you know, go to therapy or sit down or realize you're the problem. So we just decided to kind of run the ball. And that's why also every character they run into, instead of saying no, says guy who was talking to the phone, was just like, absolutely, I completely understand where you're coming from. You should do something about that.
Yeah.
And it just so happens it's the craziest possible thing.
Right. But Patrick Warburton, no, just that deadpan, no affect, going through the collection of weapons in possibility of dueling, and the art of dueling and every stage of the way to finally get to where you're about to assassinate your rival is just absolutely hilarious, because like I would have not been able to keep a straight face on set with Patrick being so deadpan.
We kept Video Village far enough away whenever Patrick was running through his lines, because it was very hard to not start laughing. I mean, we shot it during COVID. We were laughing into our COVID masks a lot of the time. He can make almost anything funny. I think he could deliver terrible news and I could laugh out loud. He has
God is dead.
Writing, and once you get used to writing for Patrick Warburton, we've talked about it before, it's almost like writing on steroids or with cheat codes, because you just, once you get to know his voice, you can really maximize his comedic output, and his timing is just so bizarre and hilarious. And the character of Christoph was so great for him, because just to have a guy who runs this antique shop who's been waiting his entire life for two young duelists to come around, his excitement in the face of this insane proposition was just a role that Patrick Warburton absolutely nailed. And when we were first connected with him, we put on a Zoom kind of like this one, we thought we were auditioning for him, and he started auditioning for us. And it was this very funny moment where we thought we were begging him to be a part of the project. And then 2 minutes in, he was reading lines and auditioning and seeing if that was okay, and asking us if maybe he could do the film because he loved the script. And we were just trying to really play it cool so that he didn't think we were coming across as, too desperate or too indie and maybe his agent of the thing. So we just had to play really cool until he made it out to set, and then we could fanboy.
I don't blame you for that, by all means. And then you cast your sister in the film as well as Abby. What's it like directing your older sister, who probably was a bit of a pain to you growing up?
Yeah, like you mentioned the Michael Landon thing at the beginning. Big on nepotism over here. She was excellent to work with. Her and I were 18 months apart. And you were absolutely right. She used to drive me insane, but she also, for the majority of my life, has been a wonderful sister and a good friend. And so being able to balance that in a character was really fun, where Abby is an interesting character. She's one that the men at the estate don't want to listen to. She is making a lot of sense. But I think there was, in terms of directing her, there was extra pressure that I think she felt, because she really wanted to do a good job. She saw how much work Luke and I had put into this thing. And so it wasn't just doing a job for her. She always tries to do an excellent job when she's on set, but this one in particular, it's, you're going to see the director for hopefully the rest of your life. So she put a little bit more pressure, and I think she fully delivered. So no issues there. But yeah, it was to be frank, it was very fun writing a bitchy role for my sister, who's driven me crazy a lot of the time. And we both had a lot of fun diving into that character.
Luke, here's an important question. God forbid you end up in this situation. What is your weapon of choice for a duel?
Well, I'm very small, so it's pistols every time. It's pistols every time. I feel pretty confident at 10 faces being able to get someone to go away. You give me a sword, I think I'm in some very serious trouble. If you imagine me and him having a sword fight, not a very good opportunity for me there. But which is also kind of like one of the reasons it was that, right? Is like it makes everything fair. Like if you had in the old days, if you had one leg and the other guy, pistols makes it fair. If you're tall, if a height difference, a weight difference, Now, obviously, it is unpleasant when the other guy is a good shot and you're not, which is why it was so important in the movie to make it clear they're both actually oddly good shots. To drive home, one, the danger of the situation, but two, that it was something where very frequently people also didn't die. All you had to do was kind of stand, show that you were brave enough to take it. And sometimes people shot in the air, they missed. Sometimes we don't know, they intentionally missed. The point was actually just to prove that you're
willing to face
quote unquote man enough to especially if you're the offending party, to take responsibility for what you did. And that was something that we had a lot of fun playing on with Dylan, and the seriousness and the thought process of what to do there.
And it's also a lot cheaper than filming a joust. All right.
100.
Hey, sorry, you froze for a second there.
I was going to say, yeah, I cracked the joke and then it froze. I was like, great, I just killed the interview.
If it was the joust joke, we did laugh on our end. We didn't hear anything after that.
No, but like the joust thing would have been funny. But no, this is fantastic. And like, You know, because you can sit there and it's two friends. They're both roughly of equal size. One finally admits, and this is the only spoiler I'm going to give, is that he got her number from the group chat. So
disgusting behavior.
Right, but who's more at fault? Him for taking the number from the group chat or her responding to him?
Let's be very clear. Sometimes there's just enough evil to go around. I think that also is based on a true situation. But like, you know, sometimes that's how your parents meet. That's all I'll say about it, right? Sometimes, you know, true love is meant to be, and it happens in the worst possible way.
Yeah.
And in the case of our characters, and in that, I think it's a very dark thing to do. But you know, Romeo and Juliet's considered one of the most beautiful pieces of art of all time, but that's a pretty dark, weird thing that goes on. So it's just like, it's one of those things where when I heard that story in real life, that was my immediate reaction. It was that. Oh my god! Oh,
I think
the group chat's not even safe. Oh
yeah,
my
the group
god.
Exactly. The sacred chat
What
is
sort of
broken.
society is this?
The fellowship is broken.
It's all meeting.
I think that was something that was important for the dramatic structure of the film and being able to justify some of the crazier elements of the movie is, and it sounds political, not picking sides, but kind of blame is equal to go around. We wanted to put people in a position where you could make arguments that what each person did may be worse than the other. You know, Abby doing what she did, Colin doing what he did, and betraying the trust of one of his best friends, and then also what Woody does in response by burning a very important family heirloom. And I think, you know,
that's maybe worse.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who have watched the film and actually think that was maybe the worst thing that was done, and I think that's fascinating, and there's arguments to be made there.
Also, there's a great line that sort of addresses this from Kevin, which is, you know, what he just did. That's exciting. That's probably what made her do it in the first place. But it's like there is that too, where it's like, you know, if you know, when the nightmare of if you ever have to go through someone leaving you or break up with you, whatever it is, you do eventually have to take stock of the fact that something went wrong. Something's wrong with you. And probably the best way to handle that is to not think of it and instead to challenge the
organized combat.
Exactly.
And not think about any of your problems.
Yeah. Don't focus on you. Focus on them.
Yeah.
Before I let you go and we do all the plugs, has the circle of friends that were adjacent to yours seen the film, and what's their reaction been to it, if at all?
They have not seen the film, but they will be watching it in theaters on July 31st. And the story of that friend group is quite interesting. The two in question who had the affair are now getting married. So yeah, I don't know if it makes it better or worse. I think it makes it better because it wasn't, because if it was just about the sex and then nothing else, then I think that's a very dark outcome. But they are getting married, so there's something about true love underneath it all 100%. That makes it a little bit better for maybe the other guy, where it was like, well, it never was going to be your wife.
Yeah. Well, gentlemen, thank you so much for your time. Where can we find the two of you on social media and continue the conversation about the Duel? Gentlemen, you know, we'll make sure everyone sees it. Gentlemen's Rules.
The best place to keep up with the film is at the Duel Movie on Instagram. You can also follow Dylan Sprouse, who's posting all the time. I am not really on Instagram. Luke is kind of. What's your handle?
Oh, it's my name, Luke Spencer Roberts.
There you go.
If you guys want to find me.
Yes.
Yeah,
my account's Justin Matthews _ I have a private account. I really don't like. I'm almost never on it. There's another Justin Matthews that's very popular on Instagram. He's a gay porn star. Mm-hmm. You could always follow him. I've had a lot of people do that in the past. They think they're following me. They follow him. Yeah, there's always that. But the Duel Movie is. Yeah, I should reach out and see if he'll post.
See if he'll just do it. Dude.
Yeah, exactly. You'd be one of our influencers
at that point. But
yeah, we're having a big premiere down in Indianapolis, so then we're coming out the 31st, and then August 16th we'll be online for, you know, your Amazon and Apple needs, etc. And
yeah,
my grandma will be able to watch it.
But we really want people to see it in theaters because it's, I mean, beyond the fact that films just play better in a theater, particularly when any sort of involved, the fact that our movies made it into a theater in the first place is excellent. Lionsgate's taken a little bit of a risk on us on that one, so we'd really appreciate it for film fans to go out and support the movie there, because we'd like to make some more of these.
Also support your local theaters.
Yeah.
Got to do it.
Well, The Duel, Gentleman's Rules comes out July 31st in theaters. Congratulations. This movie was a lot of fun. It was really funny, dark comedy. Congratulations on this. Can't wait to see what comes next. Maybe a sequel. Just following
Maybe.
Patrick Warburton selling random knickknacks.
I
Exactly.
would love to direct that movie, and I would certainly watch it.
Duel 2, Burslow's Shop of Horrors.
Yeah.